So, you're in the market to upgrade your camera and you want to dive deeper into videography? Then this video is for you. Today I'll be sharing my experience upgrading from the Canon 5D Mark II to a cinema camera, and I'll give you my personal take on whether the upgrade was worth it. Let's dive right in. The camera that I upgraded to is none other than the infamous Blackmagic Pocket Cinema Camera 6K Pro. It seems to be very hit or miss in the YouTube community. Some swear by the image quality and the B-raw colors, and some say that it's not that much better than a mirrorless hybrid camera. Some even say that the rolling shutter makes the camera unusable. Well, here's my honest take on the BMPCC 6K Pro. Let's start with the pros. The image quality truly is exceptional. Now take that with a grain of salt because previously I was using the Canon 5D Mark II, so it was a huge upgrade in the quality of the videos. But when you film 6K B-raw, the colors, the natural sharpness, and the highlight roll-off really does shine. In terms of image quality, you can't go wrong with the BMPCC 6K Pro, especially if you're looking to upgrade from a DSLR or a mirrorless camera. Even filming in ProRes 4K looks really good, and that leads to the next pro, various recording formats and resolutions. It's capable of filming in multiple different resolutions, 6K, 5.7K, 4K, and 1080p. It can film in B-raw or ProRes, and you can choose a compression ratio. The choices that you have is actually very nice because for some projects or client work, you can determine the specs and choose your ideal ratio between quality and file size. If you're using an old DSLR, I can confirm that even filming in 1080p in ProRes on the BMPCC 6K Pro will be a huge upgrade. Another pro, especially if you're using an old DSLR, are the frame rate options. There are a lot to choose from: 24, 30, 48, 50 frames, 60 frames, even 120 frames per second. Now keep in mind that some of these higher frame rates crop into the sensor and can only be achieved with lower resolution. This can be seen as a con for some people, especially when there are mirrorless cameras like the Sony a7S III that can film in 4K 120 with very minimal crop. But for me, the options are plenty enough. Next is the screen and the user interface. The screen is fantastic. The user interface is also fantastic. The menus are so easy to navigate. The screen is big and bright, up to 1500 nits, which is awesome when filming in direct sunlight. I'd even say that if you aren't filming yourself, you don't need an external monitor. Their internal monitor is that good. And of course, it has a lot of video focus features to help you film the best image possible, like zebras, focus assist, shutter angle, false color, histogram, and audio levels. It really does feel like a cinema camera in a slightly larger DSLR body. It might also be important to note that it takes EF lenses. I won't go too much into lenses in this video, especially because the lens mount can be a pro or a con depending on what lenses you already have. And of course, I have to mention the built-in ND filters. Look, some people say, who cares? Just get a variable ND and screw it on. But after having used the built-in ND filters, man, it's awesome. You click a button and bam, you got NDs up to 6 stops. And last on the pros list is of course the price. For all that this camera offers, it is at a reasonable price, especially when Sony or Canon cameras that offer similar specs are almost twice the price. So the affordability, I would have to say, is a pro for this camera. At this point, you might be thinking, well, this is easy and this is the camera that I want. But hold up, wait a minute. Let's talk about the cons first before you whip out your credit card. The first con is controversial, and that is the Super 35mm sensor. Yes, I know that there's nothing wrong with Super 35mm sensors, and there's a lot of Hollywood movies that are filmed in this format, but hear me out. Sometimes when you're filming client work and the space is really compact, you might want that full frame, but it's a double-edged sword. If you have a full frame, but you want to get a closer angle, it's harder to achieve. Both cases can be solved by having the right lens, so it's not really a big deal if you have the money to buy extra lenses. It is true that full frame sensors are generally better for low light, but I find that the BMPCC 6K Pro's dual native ISO at 400 and 3200 gives some flexibility for low light situations. The next con is the rolling shutter. Yes, it is true, the rolling shutter on the Blackmagic Pocket Cinema Camera 6K Pro is not good. You can notice the jello effect even when panning at a reasonable speed. It's not critical where it makes your footage unusable, but it is there in some shots, especially if you whip pan or tilt, which I honestly don't do very much. If you film a lot of action shots or high-paced sports where you need to move the camera around fast, then this might be a deal breaker for you. A really good camera that I would recommend if you're doing a lot of those kind of shots is the Sony FX3. The rolling shutter is amazing on that camera. Another con is the size. To truly get the best out of this camera, you do need to invest in a rig. For me, I have a cage, top handle, SSD with a mount, a hot shoe mic, and an external battery. It's honestly not that bad, and the weight helps with handheld shots, but if you're out filming run and gun or on your feet the whole day, you will start to notice the weight. Once it's rigged, it also is kind of clunky with exposed cables. It does look pretty cool though, and some clients might even take you more seriously. When it's rigged, it really does look and feel like a pro cinema camera to the untrained eye. But with its size and weight, it is more difficult to do a lot of run and gun filming. Another deal breaker for some is the fact that it does not have continuous autofocus. At the time of recording, Blackmagic have announced that they are experimenting and providing firmware updates to some of their cameras that enables continuous autofocus. But as far as I know, the BMPCC 6K Pro is not one of the blessed cameras. Manual focus isn't a big deal for me because my previous camera was also manual focus. I'm used to focusing myself and I kind of like it because I can choose exactly what I want to focus on. But if you're doing fast-paced action shots or a lot of camera movements that require constantly adjusting focus, then this can be a deal breaker. And if you're filming yourself a lot, having that autofocus really is convenient. The last con is the camera body material. It's made out of carbon fiber polycarbonate composite, aka reinforced plastic. I'm not hating on Blackmagic or anything. I mean, the camera is very affordable compared to other cameras in its range, but even within a year of using the camera, the lens cap already chipped, and so it doesn't stay locked super well. This is an easy fix. You can just get body caps for cheap and replace it. But the fact that I'm already seeing some wear and tear from the plastic material isn't a good sign. So what is my honest take on upgrading from an old DSLR to the BMPCC 6K Pro? Was it worth the investment? In summary, yes, the BMPCC 6K Pro is a huge upgrade. It comes with its cons, but for me, I would say that the pros outweigh the cons, especially for my line of work. If you're looking to upgrade your camera and are interested in the BMPCC 6K Pro, I highly recommend it. I've used it for almost 2 years now, and I really don't have much to complain about. It produces beautiful images, the UI is super easy to use, it offers a lot of choices in terms of recording formats, and the price is reasonable. So personally, I am super happy with the investment. Anyways, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope it helps you in your gear upgrading journey, and if you found it helpful, make sure to hit that like and subscribe button so you don't miss out on future videos that you might find useful. If you have any questions regarding my old camera and my upgraded camera, let me know in the comments below. I'd be happy to chat. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.